This Wednesday, September 20th, MLB Betting Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by DraftKings. Download the app now and use promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on football, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app and again, use promo code CFBX. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20 times your money in one game. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $100. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Tuesday, September the 19th, currently 5:04 on the East Coast. Here to get into our MLB betting picks for the Wednesday schedule. And joining me here to help me break it all down, you guys know him as the voice here on the MLB Gambling Podcast, the hardest working man in the sports gambling industry is Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, how's it going, my friend?
What's going on, Munaf? Good to be with you. I feel like we haven't done one together in a while, me and you.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Good to be with you. And chat's going along smoothly already. I love it.
Yeah, man, shout out to the chat. Still grinding it away with us, man. I know a lot of people have their attention on college football and the NFL, but our usual suspects in the chat with the shout out again to TVDBJ, first in the door again. Ryan's in there as well. So appreciate you guys. Some new faces in there, Adam as well. So appreciate you guys joining us on the chat here. D-Rock, man, we're getting close to the finish line, man. We have about a week and a half? Yeah, 2 weeks left. That. Yeah, a handful of games, we should say, left for the MLB regular season. But, still some things still to be determined. Obviously, the wild card races in both of the leagues, and then also the AL West race is still up for grabs, and also the AL East Rays and Orioles are still battling it out there. But Orioles still maintaining their lead. They got a huge victory on Monday night against the Astros and come from behind fashion and cost me the run line in that ninth inning. But it's going to be a fun race down the stretch here for these races. But, like I mentioned, over these last 2 weeks, at least, we're probably going to just cover the top 8 to 10 games. I know we have 8 games here tonight we're going to talk about. But again, if you are in the YouTube chat live and you want us to, talk about a game that we don't talk about at the end of the pod, we'll quickly go through it. But we'll just cover the meaningful games for the Wednesday schedule and until the end of the regular season. But again, if you want all of our picks, just make sure to go over to the website, sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Just hit that MLB tab, just hit MLB picks, and you'll see our picks there daily for all the games that are happening on the diamond. A lot of day baseball tomorrow, D-Rock. Let's dive right into it, my friend. First game is going to be a NL East battle at 12:20 Eastern start, an early start here. We got the Philadelphia Phillies. They are in Atlanta to take on the Braves. Aaron Nola gets a start here for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Bryce Elder is on the mound here for the Atlanta Braves. Currently seeing the Braves are a minus 148 home favorite here, plus 124 on the money line for the Philadelphia Phillies. Total is set at 9.5 with juice towards the under at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 136 for the Braves and plus 1.5 minus 162 for the Phillies. I'll start here with Aaron Nola. If you kind of look at his career numbers against the Braves, they look pretty good. But I think the one thing that kind of stuck out to me about Aaron Nola is that he struggles when he pitches in Atlanta against the Braves. So just kind of put it into context here. So Nola in his career against the Braves in Atlanta, he's 4-7. Well, let me start with his overall record, and I'll split it by there, just kind of tell you guys the difference. But so Nola in his career against the Braves, 15-10 with a 3.41 ERA, and then on the road in Atlanta, he's just 4-7 with a 4.26 ERA. And then just to put into context how he's done in Philadelphia against the Braves, 11-3 with a 2.73 ERA. So significant splits here for Aaron Nola when he pitches at home. or when he pitches in Atlanta. At least for this game, he is going to be pitching in Atlanta. Did have a start earlier this season against Atlanta. She 2 starts earlier this season against Atlanta. One was a great start back in Philadelphia on June 22nd, 6 shutout innings. He allowed 2 hits, but then his start in May on the 25th against the Braves in Atlanta, 5 earned runs he gave up in 6 innings, allowed 2 walks, 3 home runs in that game. And over his last 5 starts here, D-Rock, he's 2-1 with a 4.88 ERA. And for whatever reason, within the division, he has struggled in 7 starts in the NL East. He's 0-3 with a 5.08 ERA. And on the road this season, 6-6 with a 5.58 ERA. Meanwhile, Bryce Elder has been very consistent for this Atlanta Braves team. On the season, he's 12 and I think it was 12-4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3.50 ERA at home in Atlanta this season. 7-1 with a 2.99 ERA. He did face the Phillies earlier this season. 7 shutout innings against the Phillies. He only allowed 3 hits in that span, 6 strikeouts as well. Has struggled over his last, or did like struggle in his last start, which was against the Marlins. But prior to that, the Braves have won 4 of his last 5 previous starts here. I think I'm just going to continue fading the Nola train in Atlanta at least. So I'm going to take the Braves on the money line here with Bryce Elder. I like him at home. 15 starts, 7-1, 2.99 ERA. I think that he should continue his success in Atlanta here. So give me the Braves on the money line here, D-Rock.
Yeah, I really wanted to take the Phillies again. I hit with them as a dog the other night with Zach Wheeler on the mound as underdogs against this Braves team. But like you said, I just can't trust Aaron Nola on the road. He's just not the same pitcher as he is when he pitches in Philadelphia. And last time he faced the Braves in Atlanta, they had 5 runs given up in 6 innings. Phillies have actually lost both starts Nola has made against the Braves this season. Even though the Braves, they've kind of taken their foot off the gas a little bit, 4 in a row they've lost now. I still like them here at home to get back in the win column. Nola hasn't looked good in the month of September at all. He's a fade for me right now. I think Zach Wheeler's definitely their best pitcher. So I'm with you. I'll take the short price, -148 with the Braves to bounce back here.
All right, next game on the board, it's going to be a 12:35 Eastern start. The Minnesota Twins, they are in Cincinnati to take on the Reds. I'm currently seeing Bailey Ober is going to get the start here for the Minnesota Twins, and Hunter Green makes a start here for the Cincinnati Reds. Reds are a -120 home favorite here, even money on the money line for the Minnesota Twins. Total is set at 9 with juice slightly towards the under at -112. Run line -1.5 +154 for the Reds and +1.5 -185 here for the Twins. D-Rock, what do you got for this game?
Yeah, I kind of like the dog here and the Twins on the money line at even money. I actually made them a -125 favorite. I also lean over 9. I made my total 9.9. I don't know what it is, but I'm just not a fan of Hunter Green. I don't think he's a good pitcher. He's one of those guys that the public loves to bet on because he gets a lot of those strikeout props, but he gives a lot of hard contact up, and the Reds usually lose most of his starts. So not a big fan of him right now, to be honest. And to be this big of a favorite, I know it's at home, but I just don't think they should be this big of a favorite against the Twins. I think Bailey Ober, not to say he's the best pitcher, but he's a little better than Green right now. But Ober, he's another guy. He gives up a lot of runs, 2 or more runs in 9 straight games. I think both pitchers are good to give up a few runs in here. So love the over at +102, and I'm going to take the Twins. I think they're a more complete team right now.
Yeah, you take a look at 4 of the last 5 starts for Bailey Ober. He has, or the combined runs in 4 of those last 5 starts have seen 10 or more. So last start, 12 against the White Sox, 13 in the Rangers start, 10 with the Brewers. And then he had back-to-back starts against the Tigers. One produced 8 runs, and the other one had 14 runs in that game. Bailey Ober has been a little bit better on the road, 5-3 with a 3.83 ERA. But like you mentioned, that he's susceptible to giving up those runs. And again, I don't trust Hunter Green either. I agree with you that it's either strikeout with him or the ball's going over the fence. Sometimes I feel like there's no in between with him. And again, walks are an issue for him as well. Over his last 5 starts, he's allowed 14 walks, or he's issued for 14 walks, I should say, to the opposition. So I'm with you on the over here. I really do like the first 5 innings over as well. I think both pitchers probably give up 2 to 3 runs each. If that number is at 5 for the first 5, I would not be opposed to taking the first 5 over in this game between the Reds and the Twins. All right, D-Rock, before we get over to the next game, let me tell everyone about DraftKings Sportsbook. We're back with another week of football, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw 5 on any of this week's epic matchups to walk away an instant winner. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game this September. Football is more fun when you're in on the action. So download the app now and sign up with code SGP. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. And we're also brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't have to be stressful. Game Time is fast and an easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets, their best prices are guaranteed, and you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to have. Like I mentioned, football is well underway. You probably want to get out to the ballpark before the season wraps up. Let Game Time take the stress away. They have flash deals and last-minute tickets, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Images of your seat views, the lowest price guaranteed. They also have event cancellation protection in case something does happen. Those, whether there's a game that gets postponed or an event does get postponed or rescheduled, they have your back. Forgetting planning months in advance, Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and much more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. Get this, they are so confident in their pricing that if you find a lower price in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. That is how confident they are. The best thing that I love about their app is that when you go in to buy those tickets, you can actually see the image of your seat view at that specific venue. So there's not going to be any surprises when you actually do get to the venue. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're all set to go. The tickets are sent directly to your phone. You don't have to hassle through your mailbox or your email box. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code CFBX for $20 off for your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices are guaranteed. All right, next game on the board we're going to get to, it's going to be a 2:05 Eastern start. The Boston Red Sox and the Texas Rangers are battling it out in Arlington. I am currently seeing Brian Bello is going to get the start here for the Boston Red Sox, and John Gray is on the mound here for the Texas Rangers. Looking at the lines for this game, the Rangers are a minus 142 home favorite, plus 120 on the money line for the Boston Red Sox. Total is set at 8.5 with juice towards the over at minus 120. Run line minus 1.5 plus 130 for the Rangers and plus 1.5 minus 155 for the Boston Red Sox. I'll lead it off here with the Red Sox here with Brian Bello. And we just talked about it with Bailey Ober and Hunter Green, that those 2 pitchers are giving up the runs. Well, so is Brian Bello. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in 4, he's allowed at least 3 runs in 4 straight starts, and he's allowed at least 3 earned runs in 3 out of his last 4 starts. The Boston Red Sox have won 3 out of his last 5 starts, and he's been, he's been consistent. I should say that. He did have a start earlier this season against the Texas Rangers where he did go 7 innings, allowed 8 hits, only 2 earned runs in that game. He did have 3 strikeouts. And on the road, he's 7-3 with a 3.86 ERA, while John Gray has kind of been going the opposite direction for this Rangers pitching staff. Over his last 5 games, 0-2 with a 7.17 ERA. He's allowed 17 earned runs and 21 and 1/3 innings pitched. And he has also allowed at least 3 earned runs in 5 straight starts to the opposition. And again, there are being plenty of runs being scored in those starts by John Gray. So another game where I do like the over here, D-Rock, first 5 over, or if you want to go full game over 8.5. Again, the Rangers are batting loud in the AL West. I just can't trust their bullpen, man. They have been in shambles all season long. I think that's just going to be their downfall. But I do like the over, and I'll lead with the Red Sox here on the money line. But my more favorite play, first 5 inning over and full game over here, D-Rock.
Yeah, if you could get 8.5 still out there, I do see some 9, so it is trickling up to 9s. But yeah, I agree on the over. I set my total at 9.4, so I do think we'll see runs. But I'm seeing plus 126 out there, and this is just a crazy line to me. I feel like I made the Rangers a favorite, yeah, but only a minus 115. Getting plus 126 with the Red Sox on the money line, I have to take it. Both teams, they're not really playing their best baseball right now, but 1-4 in their last 5 games for both teams. But the Red Sox are 3-1 against this Ranger team. And John Gray, you kind of outlined it. He's really not someone I want to back. He's given up 3 or more runs in 5 straight starts. He has a loss against this Red Sox team. Rangers are just struggling to score runs. It's kind of like this month and a half, 2 months, they've kind of been up, down, back up, and now they're back down again. So it's very inconsistent. Not a team I really want to back right now. It's crazy to say, but I feel like I trust this Red Sox lineup a little more right now. At least they're scoring runs. So I got to take the dogs here. So give me the Red Sox on the money line with Bello. I do think he's a little better than John Gray, and I agree with the over. I think both pitchers will give up some runs.
Yeah, for those of you wondering, I am a little under the weather. So I sound like maybe, I don't know, a frog or whatever you want to call it. But try to muster through it, try to power through it. But
have you been to Arlington, by the way?
I will say this: my cousin's sister lives in the Dallas area, but I actually haven't been to the Arlington area. I want to say that's where the Cowboys used to play before they made their new stadium, the AT&T Stadium. They used to be in Arlington, but now I want to say they're in Fresco now. So it's like a whole metroplex area. I haven't been to the Arlington area, but I have been in the Dallas and the Fresco area. Fresco is just super nice. And if you ever are in Dallas, you definitely need to get out there.
That's what I was researching, like up and coming like new cities, and they're saying Austin, Arlington, they're saying those towns are really nice.
Yeah, I know there were some rumors about I think it's Universal that maybe Universal Studios that are planning to make I guess like a theme park or a resort out in, it's either Fresco or I know it's in the Dallas area for sure. So yeah, that's only going to bring in more money for that city there. But yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with Austin either. Austin is like, yeah, it's super nice. The food is always great as well. So not going to shy you away if you ever move out to Austin, D-Rock. All right, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. We have another 2:10 Eastern start. We got the Baltimore Orioles and the Houston Astros. Probably a series of the early week here between these two teams. Currently seeing Kyle Bradish is getting the start here for the Baltimore Orioles, and Christian Javier is on the mound here for the Houston Astros. Officially, I'm seeing lines here on a book. So it's either varying between minus 110 and minus 125 for the Astros, and then even money and plus 105 for the Baltimore Orioles. And the total is set at 9 in this game here. D-Rock, do you see anything different?
No, I was going to ask you real quick. Is that an offshore book?
So that is going to be, let's see here. It is in front of me, or did it go? I just had it here. Where is it? That is Bet Online and Bookmaker.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't see any lines or the books that I've been using. But I did make lines. We're getting plus money with the Orioles. I actually made the Orioles a minus 110 favorite, minus 1.5, plus 155, plus 110 for the Astros, plus 1.5 is at minus 155. Total 9.5. But yeah, it's just really hard not to back the Orioles right now, I feel like, especially since we're getting plus money in some books. Even after clinching a playoff berth the other day, this team is still playing hard. They're not letting their foot off the gas because they do have something to fight for. The division is still in play. I know the Rays are, I think, 2.5 games back behind them, but they've won 3 in a row while Astros are a very good team. Don't get me wrong, but they've been a little inconsistent for my liking. There's no reason this team should have lost 2 or 3 last week from the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
I felt like that was unacceptable, but I think we can see another game like the first game of the series, a high-scoring affair. It was 7-8. I think we could see runs here. So, like I said, does that book give you a total or no?
I see 9s.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I set my total at 9.5. So I do think we'll see runs, though. The last 5 games, we've gone into the double digits with these two teams. So two good offenses with both pitchers that give up some runs. So I think the over is in play here.
Yeah, I mean Javier over his last 5 games, 1-2 with a 6.00 ERA, and I know Captain Sano's pointing out as well that the home and road splits for Javier are about a run and a half different. He's better at home at Minute Maid Park than he is on the road. Um, but you're right. I think it's something similar that we'll probably see what we saw on Monday night, where it was an 8-7 final. I mean, maybe not 15 runs being scored, but I can definitely see, both these teams combined getting into double digits here. And again, Kyle Bresch, I know we talked about him a lot on the pod, but I feel like he's been one of the more consistent pitchers, if not possibly the best pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles this season. He's been really good on the road as well. 7-3 with a 3.56 ERA, and over his last 5 starts, he's been absolutely amazing for the Baltimore Orioles. 4-1 with a 2.90 ERA. But like you mentioned, D-Rock, that 4 of the last 5 wins that Kyle Bradish has had for the Orioles, all 4 of those games have been in double digits. So he's getting the run support when he's on the mound here. So the Orioles, prior to the Rays loss, had scored 11, 7, 5, and 12 for Kyle Bradish when he was pitching for them. So, yeah, I agree with you. I like the Orioles. If you get them at a plus price here, I love the Orioles here. And I do like the over in this game here as well. Currently at 9. But we anticipate it opening up at 9. If you don't have access to DraftKings right now, they don't have a line up for that game just yet. All right, D-Rock, before we get over to the next game here, let me tell everyone about Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bets with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets Revolutionary Parlay Optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate or for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. So watch along, make your picks, and make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or their website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $100. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. All right, D-Rock, let's get over to the next game on the board here. I know someone wanted us to cover the Diamondbacks game, so why don't we just give our thoughts on that here quickly. It's a 3:40 Eastern start between the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Logan Webb is on the mound for the Giants, and Merrill Kelly gets a start for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are a minus 118 home favorite here, minus 102 on the money line for the San Francisco Giants. Total set at 8. Run line plus 1.5, minus 192 for the Diamondbacks, and minus 1.5, plus 160 for the Giants here. D-Rock, did you have anything for this game?
Yeah, another big game here, NL wildcard race. San Francisco, they're only 2 games back of the last playoff slot in the NL wildcard, while Snakes, they're in the second wildcard slot as of right now. So, yeah, big series for both clubs. As for the game, I kind of like the Giants here on the road. I know they struggle on the road, but I kind of trust Logan Webb a little more in this spot than Merrill Kelly. He just got waxed by the Mets in his last start. And I know the counter to this is, Kelly's better at home than he is on the road. And that might be the case, but the Mets scoring 7 runs off of you. And let's not forget the Giants hit him pretty well in his last start as well. Webb, he's pitched solid against the Snakes in all 3 of his starts against the Diamondbacks. So, I think the Giants have the pitching advantage here. So I'll roll the dice. Minus 102. I actually made the Giants a minus 120 favorite on the road. So I'll take the Giants here.
Exactly what you just said there, that Logan Webb has just been really good against this Diamondbacks team, not only in his career, but this season as well. Career long 4-2 with a 2.62 ERA. And just this season alone against the Diamondbacks in 3 starts, 1-0 with a 2.57 ERA. And if you're a prop player, you probably want to take a look at Logan Webb's outs issued because he's gone 7 innings in all 3 of the games
Mhm.
this season that he's pitched against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I know we've talked a lot about the Arizona Diamondbacks, their bullpen. I mean, the pitcher could have a great start within those first 5, 6 innings, but I still don't trust that bullpen for the Diamondbacks. But I'm with you, man. Give me the Giants here on the money line with Logan Webb. It's just that he's just been so good against the Diamondbacks in his career.
Yeah.
All right, next game we wanted to touch on here is going to be a 7:05 Eastern start. Toronto Blue Jays, they are in Yankee Stadium. Excuse me, to take on the Yankees. Michael King is getting the start here for the Yankees, and Kevin Gossman on the mound here for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's minus 110 on the money line for each way. Total is set at 7.5. Run line minus 1.5 plus 150 for the Toronto Blue Jays and plus 1.5 minus 180 for the New York Yankees. I'll start here with Kevin Gossman, man. He's been actually pretty decent against the Yankees, not only in his career, but I think especially this season. I'm trying to pull up the exact splits here for this season for Kevin Gossman. Um, let's see here. This season, Kevin Gossman against the Yankees. In 2 starts, he's has a 1-0 record with a 1.29 ERA. He's been in double-digit strikeouts in both of those starts against the New York Yankees. He did go 7 innings each in both of those starts against the New York Yankees. One game he pitched shutout baseball, only allowed 3 hits. The second start, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, like I mentioned. In bad start. And over his last 5 games, he's kind of been up and down. He has a 2-2 record with a 4.23 ERA. Coming off of a bad outing, which was against the Texas Rangers, where he allowed 4 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings pitched. 6 walks he issued in that game to the Texas Rangers. Michael King, I guess when you say consistency, I think his name will pop up at least for this month of September and August because he's been really good when he's actually been getting starts here for the New York Yankees. He hasn't allowed more than 1 earned run in any of his last 5 starts. And they've come against the Nationals, the Tigers, the Astros, the Brewers, and the Red Sox. The last 2 starts, he allowed 1 earned run each in those games. 8 strikeouts against the Red Sox and 9 strikeouts against the Milwaukee Brewers. Has faced the Toronto Blue Jays 3 times this season. That's been out of the bullpen, so not a lot of data to go off of there. I feel like this might just turn into a pitcher duel here because I like the form that Michael King is in right now. I like the dominance that Kevin Gossman has had against his New York Yankees team, and also if you're a player, strikeouts for Kevin Gossman, I think that he should have another dominant performance in this game against the Blue Jays, and Michael King could be sneaky here as well. The only caveat is that he only goes about 5 innings for the New York Yankees. So maybe a first 5 innings under in this game. I like the full game under as well. Gun to my head, I'll go with the Blue Jays on the money line here, but I really do like the under and Kevin Gossman's strikeouts in this game here, D-Rock.
Yeah, anything for the pit for the strikeouts, anything like a 5.5 or 6. I doubt we'd get it that low, but yeah, I agree on that. Wind's blowing out tomorrow in Yankee Stadium, so it should help a little bit. I think I gotta go with the Blue Jays here on the road. I just don't feel like the odds shouldn't be this close, in my opinion. I made minus 110 for the Blue Jays. I made the Blue Jays a minus 170 favorite with Kevin Gossman on the mound. It's not that I don't like Michael King because I do think he has been okay. He just doesn't really go that long, 4 or 5 innings max. But, the way the Blue Jays have been playing, they just got done sweeping the Red Sox. They're playing good baseball, and I feel like they need to continue playing well because Seattle and the Rangers are right behind them in that AL wildcard race, and they can find themselves out of the playoffs real quick. So I just think the Blue Jays, they have the pitching advantage with Kevin Gossman, and I do think they have the hitting advantage in that lineup. So I think they are the right side, and for it to open up as a pick 'em does worry me a little bit, but I got to trust my numbers. I'll take the Blue Jays here.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Blue Jays. Again, Captain Insane also pointing out the strikeout props here for Kevin Gossman. Definitely going to be on that. Even if it's at 7.5, I feel like that this should be a bounce back start for Kevin Gossman in this game. Let's go back to a game here, D-Rock, where we don't have lines for, so we'll use D-Rock's lines here. Let's go back to the Mets and the Marlins. It is going to be a let's see here, a 6:40 Eastern start between the Mets and the Marlins. Kodai Senga is on the mound here for the New York Mets, and Yuri Perez takes the mound here for the Miami Marlins. Let me see on my odds screen if there is any remotely close lines up. So I am seeing the Marlins are a minus 125 home favorite here. You can either get plus 115 or plus 105 on the New York Mets. Total is at 7.5 in this game here, D-Rock. I know you've been a huge fan of Kodai Senga. Are you backing him here in this game?
Odds seem very close to mine, which worries me a little bit. I made the Marlins a minus 130 favorite, minus 1.5, plus 135. Let's reverse it for the Mets, plus 130. For the money line, plus 1.5 is at minus 130. Total is at 7.3. So agree on the under. I do think we'll see a lower scoring game. And, I do like Kodai Senga here. And, as much as people love to fade Kodai Senga on the road, he has gotten much better throughout the season, pitching away from Citi Field, I would argue. 3 runs total in his last 2 starts on the road. Walks are the big thing. Walks can be an issue for him sometimes, but Yuri Perez at home, man, he has been lights out. 3-1 with a 1.69 ERA. Batters are only hitting a $1.84 off of him. Surprisingly, he hasn't faced the Mets this season, and Marlins are another one of these teams that need to win this series because they're on the outside looking in of the playoffs right now. And the Mets, I know it's crazy to say, but the Mets have actually owned the Marlins this season, 5-2 straight up against the Fish this year. And 2 of those 5 wins have come from Senga. So if we get anything over a plus 130 or higher, I have to take the Mets just pure based on the numbers. But anything under a minus 120, I do think there is that's a fair price for the Marlins at home. So yeah, do with that what you will.
Yeah, look, I mean, you mentioned Senga hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of his last 5 starts. He's just been that good. He's got at least 6 innings in 5 straight starts for the Mets as well. And over his last 5 starts, 2-1 with a 1.65 ERA, 42 strikeouts. He's been in double-digit strikeouts in 3 of his last 4 starts for the New York Mets. So it's just absolutely brilliant stuff from Senga. And he did face the Marlins twice this season, 11 1/3 innings pitched in those 2 games. 14 strikeouts. He only allowed 2 earned runs to the Miami Marlins. And like you mentioned, Yuri Perez has also been really good at home this season for the Marlins. So I think this might just turn into a pitcher's duel as well. Maybe look at some strikeout props in this game here as well, whether it's for Senga or if you want to look at Yuri Perez as well. He's had at least 7 strikeouts in 3 of his last 5 starts this season. 3 of his last 5 starts. Over the course of that time. So I'll lean with the Mets here again, depending on what the number officially does come out at. If it does anything about plus 110, plus 115, I'll definitely be on the Mets here. But I really do like strikeouts for both of these pitchers, especially for Senga. I think that he can continue his dominance pitching-wise and against the Marlins here as well.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he has to be. I know he's an old rookie. He's 30 years old as a rookie, but you don't think any chance they give him Rookie of the Year as a pitcher, right? I know the guy everyone wants to win is Corbin Carroll.
For Senga?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, again,
he has an argument, I feel like. He's a top 5 pitcher in the NL. I mean, besides obviously Blake Snell and Justin Steele and Spencer Strider, Kodai Senga's right up there with Logan Webb, Zach Gallen, I don't know.
I think, what the problem is, this is probably a biased opinion, but I feel like that anytime an offensive player is considered for any type of award outside of Cy Young, like they're going to give it to that sense. Player, right? But, we had talked about Corbin Carroll and his wrist injury, that if it was more significant, I think that definitely Senga's name would have definitely been in up there as far as in the betting market. I just don't see updated numbers right now. It's only for MVP and Cy Young Award. But again, I just think that, Senga definitely, again, he's on the cusp of having 200 strikeouts in his rookie season, right?
That's insane.
Yeah, and his ERA is below 3 as well at 2.95. So we'll try to fish around and see if we can find some updated Rookie of the Year odds. Maybe the chat can help us out with that. But
Rookie of the Year,
consideration.
200 to 1 Corbin Carroll. So Kodai Senga's second. He's 15 to 1, and then you have Spencer Strider 150 to 1. James
Okay.
Outman. But yeah, they're going to give it to an offensive player.
Yeah.
I agree. I just think the season that he's having, and it doesn't help that he's a pitcher, that he only goes 5 days, and Corbin Carroll's an everyday player.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think we got to all the games. I think we have one more left here, D-Rock. That's going to be the
Yeah.
Cubbies, the Pirates, and the Cubs here. It's going to be a 7:40 Eastern start. We have Justin Steele on the mound here, fan of the show. Justin Steele on the mound for the Cubs, and Mitch. I'm seeing Mitch Keller, and then you also saw another pitcher, which was for the Pirates. Again, D-Rock, remind me.
Yeah, it was Quinn Priester.
Priester, okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if one of these offshore books have odds up for this game. So I don't see any odds in this game, but I feel like we'll probably be on the same side depending on, or regardless of who the pitcher is for the Pirates here, D-Rock.
I do actually see just money lines up right now. Minus
Okay.
175 for the Cubs, plus 135 for the Pirates. Obviously they
Okay.
don't put totals out there later in the day with the wins at Wrigley, but I made the Cubs over a $2 favorite with Justin Steele on the mound. It like we were talking before, it doesn't look like he'll win the Cy Young this year, but
Yeah.
what a season he has had for this Cubs team, and still a chance to get in the playoffs for the Cubs. I think we're going to see a very motivated Justin Steele tomorrow. His last start against the Diamondbacks, it had to have been his worst start of the season, and I just coming a guy like that who's so competitive, I just don't think that's going to sit right with him. The Cubs need to start winning and catching fire because they haven't been playing well. 2-8 in their last 10 games, and the pitching has been awful for them. I think with their ace on the mound going up against a young Quinn Priester who he's allowed 3 or more runs in every single start this season. I just think this is a good get right spot for the Cubbies at home. I got to side with them. And depending on the official numbers that come out, if we get anywhere close or even plus money on the run line, I think it's worth a sprinkle. But I got to side with Justin Steele here.
Yeah, no argument for me for sure. I think this is a good bounce back spot here for Justin Steele. Pittsburgh, over the last 2 weeks against left-handed pitching, they are number 24 in WRC plus team batting average against left-handed pitching. They are at number 16. Slugging percentage, they are at number 19 in OPS, right at number 18. But I feel like I agree with you. This is going to be a great bounce back spot here for Justin Steele. Again, if it is plus money on the run line, I think that I would definitely be all over the Cubs in that spot. But maybe look at some Justin Steele strikeout props in this game here as well for this game against the Pirates. I think that just about covers it, D-Rock. We got to those games, right? I don't think we missed any of them.
Nope. No.
All right, so one order of business. Yeah, one order of business left here. That's going to be our lock and dog for the Wednesday schedule. D-Rock, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, we'll start with my lock. I am going to stay in New York and take the Blue Jays. Going to fade the Yankees here at home. It's not so much the fate of Michael King. It's just, I just don't think he'll be out there long enough to sustain a lead or keep the Yankees close. I think the Blue Jays with Kevin Gausman, I think he's really going to limit the bats of the Yankees. And that lineup is clicking on all cylinders right now. So I'll take the short price as my lock for the Blue Jays on the money line. And for my dog, I did say a couple dogs that I like tomorrow, but give me the Boston Red Sox on the road to beat the Rangers. Brian Bello, he's been a little inconsistent or consistently, I guess not bad, but consistently giving up runs. But I just trust the Red Sox a little more than I do the Rangers right now. Both not playing really well, but the Red Sox have just had the Rangers number 3-1 against the Rangers this year. And it's also the fact that I really am not high on John Gray. He's not really someone I want to back. He gives up a ton of runs, and against his Red Sox lineup, I think that's a bad recipe. So plus 126, I think that's tremendous value for the Red Sox.
I agree. I think the plus 120 on the Red Sox, especially with Bello, who's been the most consistent pitcher. I know there was a stretch there where he was kind of up and down, but he has good numbers against the Rangers this season as well. And John Gray, over his last 5 starts, just has not been very good for the Rangers. And then, we haven't mentioned the bullpen of how bad the Rangers bullpen is. So they're always susceptible to giving up a few runs there as well. So I can't argue against that. All right, for my lock, I will go with the over in the Twins and the Reds game. Again, we talked about Hunter Green, it's either strikeout, a walk, or the ball's going over the fence. There's kind of no in between for Hunter Green, but I think that both of these pitchers will give up a few runs within those first 5 innings. If you're able to get a first 5 over at 5 for this two teams, again, I think that number does get over the number as well. But at 9, I think it's a little conservative here. So I'm going to go over 9, fade both pitchers here. For my dog, I'm going to go with the Braves run line here. I know they're kind of lollygagging and was trying to get to the finish line here. But I think number one, Bryce Elder, he's been so dominant in Atlanta for the Braves. And also Aaron Nola. We talked about the home and road splits against this Atlanta team. Not only, over his career, but over the last 2 seasons where in Philadelphia, he's been so good against the Braves, but on the road in Atlanta, it's just a completely different story. So I thought it's a good bounce back spot here for the Braves. I know they've been giving up runs, but Bryce Elder has just been absolutely phenomenal at home for the Braves. So I'll take the Braves run line -1.5 plus 136 as my dog for the Wednesday schedule. We're going to have to enjoy these last couple Wednesdays and Thursdays here, D-Rock, with day baseball because it's going to go away fairly soon here. But anything else we want to mention before we get out of here, my friend?
No, just enjoy it because you know how exhilarating. There's nothing like playoff baseball. I know we've kind of, not lollygagged to the finish line like the Braves, but we've got our mind set to other things. But once playoff baseball starts, we're locked and loaded. I can't wait to, try to get everyone on the pod and have our playoff bracket. I was very good last year. I took the Mariners and the Blue Jays, but hey, and also feel better, Munaf. You're a man of the people.
I'm trying to muster through it here. But yeah, just gonna drink some tea, take some meds, hopefully get some rest.
Early night, no football on tonight. Early night.
Yeah, no football on tonight. I actually I could not go to sleep because I had significant bets on the Steelers yesterday, so I had to kind of watch that game all the way to the end. So that was I will say that early on in the season, that's probably the luckiest one I'm gonna have all year because Kenny Pickett just was not in last night for the Steelers. But hey, shout out to Deshaun Watson, man, getting it done for my bets last night. But yeah, no football today, but hopefully can get some rest. And again, we're gonna power through the rest of the regular season.
Got to get it while you can because Maction's approaching.
Yeah, Maction for sure. Maction's always fun. Maction
I love
the greatest. It. Yeah, Maction, it's auto overs and you're cashing bets.
Yeah, and it gets us through to like Thursday night football and the weekend.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we'll be back tomorrow in some form or fashion for the MLB Gambling Podcast. Again, if you haven't already, give us a follow on Twitter at MLB SGPN. You can also follow us on Instagram, MLB Gambling Podcast. And then also, if you haven't left us a rating and review for the show, please do ahead and do so. We're trying to work up some type of fun contest for the playoffs or the World Series. So I'll work on that in the meantime. For our listeners. I appreciate everybody in the chat again. The usual suspects, TVDBJ, first in the door again. Captain Sano, Ryan was in there as well. A couple of new faces, so appreciate everybody. Riley's in there as well, so appreciate all you guys joining us as usual every single day for the MLB season. You can follow D-Rock on Twitter at Rock with 2 Ks, ROCKK24. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.